Hey guys, welcome back to Posing Posies. My name's Sarah. Thanks for joining with me in the garden. I'm actually in the garden today doing just a little bit of work while my husband starts dinner. We're having steak tonight. It's pretty much our Sunday evening dinner. I don't know, something about having steak on Sunday gets me excited for the rest of the week, I guess. I wanted to bring you out in the garden and just show you around a little bit. There has been a few disappointing things happen. I started some new seeds in the ground and put little plastic cups over them to try to get germination happening a little bit quicker, but with a combination of that's just not going to work and probably a little bit of it's just too hot, I only had about 2 seeds sprout. I'm not giving up on the rest of them, but I am going to uncover them, thinking that maybe, just maybe, the greenhouse effect was too much for those seeds, and that it maybe got a little bit too hot underneath there. We had quite a few days this past week that were pretty high heat advisories because of the humidity levels in our area. Sorry guys for the squinting. It is super sunny out right now, and it is hurting my eyes. Next time I will be bringing a hat to help with this. Right now I'm standing kind of in the middle of the garden. It is where the peach tree used to be. My dad cut it down and created an amazing table for me out here, which just is super convenient, not only for when I'm working in the garden, but also for moments like this. I have the camera set up on it right now, and so it makes it super easy. You can actually see my parents right behind me. I did a crazy thing and bought the house next to them. I don't plan on being here forever. It's only about a half an acre in the middle of the city. However, it was a really good deal. When you have 2 small kids, it is really nice to have your family close by. So the building you see behind me, that's actually my dad's workshop. Growing up, he has always been a woodworker, and most of the things you see built around our house are things that my dad had built for me. He's a huge help, honestly. He built this amazing table, my amazing green bean tunnel. He also put that together. I told him kind of about what I wanted to do, and he took it to a whole nother level that I didn't even think was possible. So thanks, Dad. Now he also helped me get the landscaping fabric down because the weeds were just kind of really going crazy in the garden, or at least where I planned on having my cut flowers. So he helped me get this really thick, too thick, landscaping fabric. However, I do believe that it's probably not real landscaping fabric. It's probably for stuff like construction style. Before my dad retired, he worked in construction, and so he had a lot of leftover of this black fabric, and it does work really well against weeds. However, I don't think it's for landscaping. So probably be going back to the drawing board next year, but is what it is for this year. Speaking of that, it killed a lot of the plants that I had planted this year because it just fried them up, the second round of cut flowers that I did. And so I decided I was going to figure out another way to go around it, which was mulch, and putting mulch over it, which did help. It did help the plants that stayed, and that did stick there. However, like most things, they don't go as planned, and something still happened. I believe that when I got my last set of seeds in about 2 weeks ago, week or so ago, yeah, it was last week, when I got the last set of seeds in last week, it's just too hot in the air to do cut flowers, maybe. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. This is my first year doing a cut flower garden, and it is something I'm super excited about. I plan on getting a few different books off of Amazon, one from Floret, and then one, The Flower Gardener, I believe. One second, I'll tell you the name of it. A lady I follow on Twitter, before I say all these names wrong, I'm awful with names, let me just check. So Common Flower Farms on Twitter, I'm obsessed with her flower farm, honestly. Almost to my obsession with Roots and Refuge, just in a different way. Roots and Refuge, it's all about the homestead life and sufficiency and being sustainable by yourself. The Common Flower Farmer, I believe. Nope, sorry. The Flower Farmer is her Twitter handle. Has an amazing Twitter page just of her beautiful flowers. I'm like a little kid. I have bug bites all over me, but it's honestly, the mosquitoes down here, are horrible. Some people, my mom, my husband, they are not really attracted to. They don't really get eaten up by mosquitoes. However, me and all of my children, the 2 of them that I have, the 2 boys, they get ate up like crazy. They get these big old red whelps on them. I luckily don't get that, but I get all the little tiny bug bites that just itch and itch and itch and itch and itch. So I do have to apologize if you see me scratching. That's what it is. Anyway, so the flower farmer on Twitter, she has a beautiful garden. She also has a book out. It's oftentimes sold out, so that does make me feel really good. But because I am obsessed with her garden so much, I figure I might as well read the book that she has about a year in the garden, and really help me get down with the flower farming side of gardening. Vegetables and all that, I grew up around. My parents have an amazing vegetable garden. They primarily did green beans growing up, obviously tomatoes, but green beans were the big thing. We never ran out of canned green beans. If we did, we just didn't have green beans anymore. There was no running to the store to get canned ones. I remember when I was a kid, there was one winter we ran out of green beans before summer, before we could start again, and we got green beans from a can one dinner, and it like turned our plates green. Now, we did have white plates, but that still doesn't take away from the fact that they turned them green. And ever since then, I have not been a huge fan of canned green beans. My parents refuse to eat them. I don't blame them. And so green beans are always the one thing that my family did. Now, my husband's family, it was all about tomatoes. They juice so many tomatoes, and if they don't have enough in their garden to do, they'll go buy them. Juicing tomatoes is not something they joke about. All of them drink tomato juice. We cook a lot with tomato juice, whether it's to make spaghetti with it. My husband likes to use tomato juice for spaghetti over tomato sauce. Goulash, wintertime, chili. We have so many needs for tomatoes and tomato juice in the wintertime. And in the summer, there's nothing better than a great tomato sandwich to my husband. For me, that's a BLT. And either way, we're both very excited for our tomatoes to come in. So to the vegetable gardening side, I've never had a huge issue with. The flower farming side, which is what I just am very passionate about and am really wanting to get into, it's not there naturally. I'm gonna have to do research. I'm gonna have to really learn about it to be able to be successful at it. Just like most things in life, you have to put in work to make it work. So I'm going to show you my mistakes and show you my failure, and then I will take you around and show you the part of the garden that doesn't look awful and that is thriving, aside from a few things that just need to be pruned and cut back. So alright, follow me. Okay, so first off is these sunflowers that are completely destroyed. So this one here, you can see the sun got it with a combination of pests. This one is still going, but not looking amazing. Not even a little bit. We got one even on the ground. Promise that's from a storm. Then we have this jumbled up mess. They're leaning over. If I was to stand it up right, you can see this bad boy really gets pretty tall. But for whatever reason, sunflowers did not like me. This little guy here, you can see how long he is just from him laying on the ground. So these are the mistakes that the sunflowers have been in. And maybe, just maybe, the next group that I do this coming weekend, will turn out better. I'm going to take you to see one more little bundle. So right here, this one is the only one that's still standing up good, and it still has a really pretty flower on it. So that does make me at least a little bit happy. I still have a ton of those seeds left though, and so we're going to replant. So right here you can also see I started a new row of pumpkins because the last ones I had got burnt up by the black tar. And so out of the 4 pumpkins seeds that I had, I have 2 of my small ones that popped up. And out of these 6 jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, same number, 2 jack-o'-lantern pumpkin seeds popped up. That'll be enough for us. And then, so continuing down this row, you see our zucchini plants that don't look great but don't look awful. We're starting to get some blooms on them, which make me super excited. And some ants. And then right next to those, probably next year they need to be spaced out more, I have my watermelons, a random okra. This okra plant was actually from the urban farm project that we got, or local in town, next town over really. What I want to do is save a bunch of seeds to donate this coming year. Out of the seeds that I did get from the urban farm project, I have 2 of them that germinated and took off. 1 okra and about 3 cantaloupes. So they are Heart of Gold cantaloupe melons, and they already have blooms on them. So I'm super excited. I'm going to save those seeds so I can take them back next year and, you know, be a part of that seed swapping that happens. So I'll show you those real quick. Are the Heart of Gold cantaloupes right here. Now, as you can see, I do have blooms already coming up, which make me super happy. Alright, so now for the last section. So now for the last set of failure. It's all a learning process, and so hopefully next year it'll be better. If you have any tips on flower farming, please keep me in mind. These 2 rows here were supposed to be all cut flowers. I have 2 good-sized cosmos plants here. These are 2 Purity Cosmos from Floret, and there are a handful of them planted around them. 2 down there, and then I have 1 more right here. And then I have a set of China Asters that were planted all down the rest of this. Now the China Asters, you can see there's some right there in the middle. I did really good with these, and they all stuck for about, they were good for about a month. And then this happened, and they all started to disappear. But on a better note, look at this tunnel. It is taking off, or at least the front is. The back's catching up slowly, but the front looks amazing. So the very front 2 poles were designated to these little pole beans that I got primarily for the flour that they produce. But these beans are so good in stir fry. I wish I could remember the name of what they are so I could tell you. But they were part of the group that I did this spring, and I lost all of the markers. So these flowers here, they need to be trimmed, cut back, put back in place, everything else. But this was part of the first group of flowers that I did. And so I sowed these seeds in our porch-made greenhouse at the beginning of March, middle of March probably. And they came outside middle of April. And they are so pretty. They have made so many of my customers happy at work. They have made me happy. I'm still determined that, or convinced I should say, that these are cross-pollinated. Those right there. That those were white daisies that got cross-pollinated with my pink and white zinnias, because now the pink and white zinnias over here, and this is really the only section that it's happening in, are going all white. And then, just so that you can know a little bit more about my favorite things to plant, are these lamb's ear. I just wish you could feel how soft these bad boys are. So soft. Alright, now what everyone loves to see, tomatoes. So our tomatoes are so big, and they're just getting bigger and bigger as the day goes on, as the weeks go on. Let me see if I can find a real pretty one. So here we go. So right here is one of the clusters of tomatoes that we have. We have beefsteak tomatoes is what we did in the garden this year. Oh no. I need to get out here and prune. We're gonna lose a lot of tomatoes. Ooh, these are looking like we must have had a pretty bad rain last night, which I just didn't realize. There we go. Alright, let's go check out the bees. So, we got this little waterer here. Where are bees? And they love it. Ooh. Nope. There's no more hanging out on there. Let's see if I have any. But they're in there. And they're going to town. Alright guys, so it is hot as hell out here. And I've been out here for about 30 minutes, dripping in sweat already. And all I've done is showed you the garden. So I'm going to get out of here, go get in the air conditioner, help my husband with dinner, mainly watch the kids while he cooks, and I will talk to y'all later.